come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por
We
favor,
invite you with
manténganse
your
alejados de
dares
las
to
puertas.
visit tonight's episode of Twist in this space travel doorless chamber.
Hello and welcome to Miles from Main Street, your Far From Disney podcast. My name is Mykhailo.
And I'm Bryan.
And we're here to talk about Disney World,
But especially coping away from Disney.
which we know a lot about being from the Midwest. Here at Miles from Main Street, our preferred travel agency is Magical Vacations by Kimberly. Kimberly is a Disney expert and can handle all of your Disney planning needs. She can also plan Universal and all major cruise lines. Contact Kimberly at magicalvacationsbykimberly@yahoo.com.
And find her on Facebook and Instagram under Magical Vacations by Kimberly. All right, so this week we've got a little special one for you guys. Mykhailo's off playing in our favorite resort down in Florida. He's having some fun visiting our friend Mickey, and hopefully he's bringing back those Gideon's cookies for me. I'll be sure to let you know next week if he did. But this week, I'm going to have Jacob here. Jacob's my son. He has been to Disney World with me 3 times, I guess. Jacob, welcome to the show.
Hold on, I didn't know anything about no cookies.
Oh, those are for me. I get those.
No, I think you're gonna share. I think you're gonna share with just me.
Well, those Gideon's cookies are half pounds, so I'm sure we can share them.
Nah, I think they're all for me now.
So, you've been to Disney World.
I have.
So you've been there about 3 times.
I have been there about 3 times, and each experience has been better than the last. Especially last year for me, because it was my birthday, so the whole week was my birthday.
That's always fun to celebrate birthdays when we're down there, isn't it?
It is, especially since you get to go to all these different restaurants, and each one has their own different spin on like the different cards and stuff they bring out to you, and you get a nice signed card with sometimes, I don't know, they usually bring out a card with a bunch of signed autographs on it.
Yeah, so for those of you that aren't aware how it works, if you go to Disney World and you're celebrating an occasion, whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, or an engagement, anything really, if you're celebrating, let them know if you have a dining reservation and that you're celebrating, and they may surprise you with something. So what Jacob's talking about is a few years ago when we were down there, we were able to celebrate his birthday, and we let them know, and not every restaurant did anything, but when we were down there, they would, I guess a couple of them,
like I think it was Chef Mickey's breakfast.
Sure, yep.
They did that one, and it's one of the coolest experiences for me when all the cast members and Mickey and Pluto and all that come out and just say happy birthday to you, and you get to meet all of them at once. It can be a little overwhelming.
I think your memory might be a little messed up.
That's usual for me.
But they don't come out all together, but they will come out one at a time like they would in the traditional character meals, as they come by and say happy birthday. But then the waiter at the end of the meal brought you a cupcake and a card, right?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So being a teenager, though, you have certain things that you enjoy more than what I might enjoy or what your little sister would enjoy, correct?
Yeah, so for me, one of my things that you kind of went on with me about, but never getting rid of it, that no one else would go on with me, is I did the not the Gathering, what am I talking about? I did the
Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom?
Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, thank you. And you get to go around Magic Kingdom through all the different mini worlds, and you get to fight the different villains, and that was one of my favorite experiences while I was there. Not going on the giant rides, but being able to see the park through such a fun game kind of style.
Yeah, you were able to play with cards, right? And there's a villain that's causing issues or whatever, and you need to hold up your card and and cast a spell and defeat that villain as you move on, right?
Yeah, so they have different keyholes that you kind of show it up to, and the different cards would have different stats on them that would defeat the monster in one way, like charisma, or with strength and power. And
yeah.
I like the strategy kinds of games, so it was kind of right up my alley for me.
I thought that was a lot of fun to play too. Unfortunately, they had to cancel it a little while ago or end that game, and hopefully they'll have something like that come back.
I'm pretty sure they already do with the treasure hunts now with Pirate of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I don't know if they're running that with the COVID stuff right now. That's something that I'll have to check into, but that would be a lot of fun to do too, I bet.
It would be. I want to go so bad.
Yeah.
Just to do that.
So I believe they send you on like a treasure hunt with that, and you go through and you have to find little clues or something. I don't know exactly how that one goes.
So from the video I've seen, you get a treasure map, and then they give you one tiny clue, and you have to figure out the clue to figure out where in the park that is. So the one I saw was there was kind of a tiki hiding in a bush that you had to find, and then there was a little clue written on that.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Yeah, the next time we go, we'll have to give that a shot.
We must.
Yeah.
It's a must.
It's a must. So, you like doing the birthday celebrations, you like doing the games. There's other games in Epcot. We've done the scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
We haven't done the... So we haven't done the Perry the Platypus one from Phineas and Ferb in Epcot yet. I'm not sure if that one's running right now. Boy, I'm not sure of much on these games. I haven't kept up with them. But during the festivals, yes, they do the scavenger hunts where there's an Olaf scavenger hunt that was done. I believe that was being done for Christmas. Right now with Festival of the Arts, they're doing a Figment one, and with Flower Garden Festival, there's a bee that you go find. So there's different things. You go through the countries and find those. You like doing that?
I love the scavenger hunt. Anything that kind of gets you moving around, seeing all the different cool attractions and different sceneries. Sometimes they're even back alleys. Like I think it was either Germany or Italy. There was a bunch of different shops, and then you can go into this cool little back alley with a couple more shops. And I kind of thought it was a cute little secret thing that you can just go into these back alleys, kind of like you were actually there, which is what Epcot is meant to do.
Yeah. Well, and they like to do that in a lot of places, right? So, you've mentioned to me, not tonight, but you've mentioned to me in passing how much you enjoy going to Pandora.
Yes.
And I believe you've mentioned the details that you can see in these parks.
So, I'm a huge fan of the Avatar movies, so Pandora was kind of a huge excitement for me. And so, when we went there and being able to see that, it was amazing because I got to walk through the movie that I've seen multiple times throughout the years. And seeing all that was just awesome, because going on the rides like
Flight of Passage,
you get put into the movie on top of a banshee, and you get to ride around through different sceneries, and you get sprayed with mist. Where you get sprayed with mist, kind of like Bug's Life or Soarin'. And that kind of experience for me is you kind of get put into it. I love it where you just get totally transported, which is what Disney does. It's one of the amazing things they're great at. It's transporting you into a different world.
Yeah, and that's what Mykhailo and I have always enjoyed too, is just the little details, the history, and how they just really draw you in. Have you ever paid attention? Do you remember, I guess, the first time you and I got to go on Expedition Everest?
I do, and there was a bunch of different like tiny details, like the broken track and the shadow before you get there.
Sure, but I'm more talking about in the queue, where you walk in and it's kind of like a Yeti museum, and you and I were going through there and we're looking at all the little pieces that they have on display in this museum, right? And by the time I was done in that museum, I had bought it. I thought we had Yetis, and it was true, and we needed to find out what to do to stay away from them, because they had me believing it.
They had me believing it too. Just the little trinkets and stuff. Like, they had one thing in the corner that you'd barely be able to see that had this amazing story written out on it. And it's just the tiny details like that that kind of really get you into it.
So it sounds like you have a lot of the same interests, just like Mykhailo and I, around this whole Disney World thing. So I guess you're a 16-year-old boy. You're going to Disney World. Do you like the princesses?
No. In fact, one of my least favorite memories was I think this was the second time, it's either the first or second time I went to Disney, and we went to go see Princess Tiana. And I was sitting in the stroller, and we got out to go take a picture, and she kissed me right on the cheek. Big red lipstick just sat there. I hated it so much, and my family, and you guys always just keep bringing it up. With, like, my sister recently had like a photo and just plopped it right on my lap. I got so annoyed.
That was fun. Your mom and I thought that was pretty cute. We enjoyed that. So you don't like the princesses, which I would expect, but if I were taking you to the Magic Kingdom, and now you can't play Sorcerers in Magic Kingdom, and I believe the Pirates Adventure is not there, what are you going to go do?
That's a tough one. Because those are the kind of things I've built my experience off of. But I'd go check out some more of the bigger roller coasters. Like Everest and Big Thunder, Splash Mountain. More of the bigger attractions.
And Space Mountain?
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain's one of my favorites.
That's one of your favorites. So those are still getting your interest. You wouldn't want to go to some other park that has other, maybe even better roller coasters. I don't know. I haven't been to that park, so I wouldn't know. But.
No, but because every time you ride one, you kind of find a little new thing about it that wants you coming back for more, seeing if you can find something else. Like on Splash Mountain, you get the same scenery every time. But every time I'm like, there's a bunny over there now. But I thought he was just right there.
So let's go through. So we've talked about Epcot a little bit. We've talked about Magic Kingdom. Is there anything that you'd be looking forward to on your next trip?
Yeah, Animal Kingdom. I want to do some of the more like live action stuff. Like I don't know if this was at Animal Kingdom, but we went to see the Indiana Jones live action like stunt thing.
Okay, that's in Hollywood Studios.
That's in Hollywood.
And we haven't been there in a while. It's been a few years. Our last trip, we didn't make it there just because of all the construction, right? So we skipped that one. But yeah, Indiana Jones.
There's another one where you got to see like the birds of the world.
Oh yeah, in Animal Kingdom.
I love that. And another favorite thing is meeting the characters around the park. And one of my favorite memories of the last time we went was we were trying to take a picture in front of the life tree or whatever, and we got to see Kevin. And so Kevin came over and started harassing us. And then eventually we thought he went away, but she photobombed our picture. And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, I just thought she was behind us, messing with all the other people around, and they were taking our pictures, so I was the last one to look. Most of the pictures we have, I'm staring right at the camera, smiling away, and here we have this great picture of everybody looking up at Kevin, except for dear old Dad staring at the camera, and
smiling away. Everyone else is staring at the giant bird looming over top of us.
Yeah, that was a great thing. I had seen interactions like that before we had gone, and didn't even dawn on me when she had come out that there was a possibility we could get a picture with her. So I thought that was really cool.
I loved it.
Yeah. So Pandora, though, I believe is your favorite. You're gonna have to get back there.
It is my must-have if I go to Disney again.
And in Pandora, when I walked in there, again, it draws you in. You feel like you've left Florida, you've left Disney World, you've now gone to the Alpha Centauri moon, right? And you just kind of lose yourself in there. I just remember looking around and seeing the floating mountains, seeing all those little details, the glowing plants and all that, and I just kept saying to myself, they've just finished this. What are they going to do when they're doing Star Wars?
I have no clue. I'm hoping to see like Tatooine, Hoth, like different kind of sections or stuff.
So you haven't seen any videos of Galaxy's Edge yet?
I haven't at all.
Because it's been open for a while now. And it's amazing. And I hope we can get there soon to see it. That would be awesome. So I think you'd love it. You get to build your own lightsaber in one place. You can build your own droid. They have a ride that is being called the best ride ever made.
That's a big title to have.
Yeah, it is, but it's called Rise of the Resistance, and every person I've heard talk about it says it's like 4 rides in one, which is ridiculous. So that's one that I'm looking forward to if I can get on that when we go. And Millennium Falcon, you get to fly the Millennium Falcon, pilot the darn thing.
The fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy right there. You get to fly it.
Yeah. So and that's kind of a video game type of thing. So I think you would love that one.
Video games are a 16-year-old's dream in order to be in one, usually.
So, all right. You a lot of times I do a lot of planning, helping friends go. And Mykhailo will do the same. We've talked about that on this show. Let's say you've got a good friend about your age comes along and says, we're going to Disney World. This is ridiculous. I don't want to see princesses. I don't care about mice. What am I going to do while I'm there?
So I'd probably sit down and think of my experiences and stuff I'd like, because most of my friends are pretty much like me. They're just mini-me's or I'm mini-thems. So I definitely tell him to go to Pandora at night. That is one of my that was one of my favorite memories, was when me and my sister got to kind of go off on ourselves and see all the cool different glowing flowers. Another thing I tell him to do is go see some of the, I guess not live, but see some of the animatronics, see some of the different like street performance stuff. Because I know those were the things I enjoyed. Like at Epcot, there's the American Eagle from the Muppets, who will perform at the Capitol with the different Muppets. I know that there's the like Jug Bears. The
Country Bears? Yeah.
Country Bears. And they perform, and that's something I enjoy. Another thing is Mickey, the 2 guys who was in the booth from the Muppets. They'd have like this show where they jump out of the screen.
So you're talking about Muppet Vision 3D.
Vision 3D.
You tell them to go see.
I would tell them to go see stuff like that.
Okay.
Bugs Life, the 4D, as I said before. Rides I tell him to go on would probably be more extreme, like Mount Everest, but I definitely tell him, don't just focus on the ride. Make sure you take in the whole scenery as you're there. And then finances, I'd tell him, make sure you get as well planned out fast passes as you can, because lines otherwise would be a pain in the butt.
They can get long, can't they?
So you can cut it in like half time, if that.
Yeah, so a lot of the planning, you would be interested in the planning too. So I think that's a good thing for people to realize, is include your kids while planning your trip. Find out what they want to do, find out what they like, but also let them help with the planning. Help get the right fast passes. Let them help with scheduling, right?
Mm-hmm. I definitely say to help out, because kids, when the parents make it, sure, there's a little mystery to it, but you're also like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I know that one of my least favorite times there was when we had to go on Frozen and wait there for an hour in Epcot. But even then, you get to see these different fun little Easter eggs around the whole, waiting area.
Yeah, in the queue line. So one of the things that you haven't had the chance to do really, because we've always had fast passes, is some of these bigger rides, like the Mine Train, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, or the Peter Pan. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. Winnie the Pooh has a great queue with a lot of interaction for kids to do. There's a lot of that stuff that they've put into these queue lines to keep kids busy while you're doing it. So I know that I really enjoyed in the Little Mermaid queue in the Magic Kingdom, they have a little game where a blue crab comes onto a screen and you have to help him collect all these things. And so he'll come out and I think he's trying to collect coins. And he'll hold something up and you tap the screen if it's the right thing or not, and then he scurries off and he'll come back with another thing. And so that's something to keep you busy while you're waiting. And are you aware now that they have games you can play on your phone while you wait?
I am not aware of that, and I think that is a great addition.
So we're gonna have to look into that for our next trip. How Play Disney fits into all these queue lines, right? So we're trying to just give you guys an idea of what it's like to take a teenager to Disney World, and there's definitely a lot you could do. It sounds like you've been allowed to go off on your own a little bit. You're 16 now. I think you can handle that type of stuff on your own. And we were there 2 years ago, so 14. I let him run off and play Sorcerers a little bit on his own. He had a phone at that point, so he was able to, let us know where he was, and we were able to keep in contact with him. He had checkpoints he had to make along the way, and he was never really gone from us for more than an hour. But being 16 now, he's getting to be a little older and a little more responsible, and I think we can let him run off on his own pretty good. It's just a matter of your comfort level, how you know your kid. Don't be afraid to let them run off and do things. Just, have them check in so you know that they're safe. Disney World is a very safe place, and I would be more worried about your little kids getting lost than I would about some of your teenagers. So feel free to let them go and do some things, explore on their own. And, like I'm listening to him talk about some of these things he's enjoying, and I don't know that I realized how much he enjoys these little details and the things you can find.
It's the fun little things that make the trip worth it sometimes, man.
Yeah, it is. We didn't spend a whole lot of time in Disney Springs the last time we were there, but we have in the past.
We have.
So what kinds of things would you do there?
Well, I remember right this is at Disney Springs. I'd go into Goofy's candy shop.
Yep.
And I'd definitely make my own Rice Krispies.
Okay.
Because you get to make all the toppings, obviously, and do what you want, but you kind of get to watch the process. And I love live cooking, because you get to see kind of food transform into its final state. And so being able to watch kind of like the magic hands go across the line and make this final product that you helped create, just a little touch of happiness.
So you'd go off and get some snacks, candy type things at Goofy's Candy Company. What about entertainment? I know they have a lot of live entertainment there. Is there anything that you enjoyed? Some of the DJs or the bands that were there? Or?
Yeah, I remember we spent like half an hour to an hour watching this one guy. There was like a mime, and then there's this comedian/magician.
Okay.
And he'd take random people from the crowd, almost by force even, to be a part of his act, and I found that hilarious. And you guys wouldn't let me look at the mime.
We must have been late for a reservation if we were pulling you along.
And there's one thing that we haven't done, but I saw. There's this like car boat that you can take rides on, and so we haven't done it, but that's something I want to do.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Go take a ride in the car boat.
Nice. Yes, I've seen that. That looks pretty cool too. I always get worried when I see them because they sit so low in the water. It makes me worried that the thing's gonna sink. But yeah, those look so cool that I would like to try one of those as well.
And again, I'm not sure if this is Disney Springs, but they have like different live concerts kind of going on. That's also at Epcot is kind of where I'm thinking of too.
Yeah, definitely. So live music and DJs, I'm sure. Would you go to a dance party?
Oh, of course.
Yeah?
It's not Disney unless you go to one dance party.
Okay, yeah. Now that's the thing that I always tell you, like, you're never going to see these people again, right? Just go have some fun.
Because I know my sister is very shy. She does not like to get on the dance floor and just dance down. Me, I'm kind of the opposite, more turning shy, but I like to get out there, just kind of have fun, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You're probably never going to see them again, so...
Yeah, most likely those people, you'll never run into them. And really, you're not talking to them, so how are you going to know if you do anyway, right? So you might as well just get out on that dance floor, have a good time, don't worry about the world around you, right?
Even then, they might even take you on stage.
So, I'm going to tell you about some other experiences that you may not be aware of, and we'll see what you like. They have mini golf there. Would you be interested in doing mini golf?
I like mini golf. That's fun.
Disney, of course, that's always better than any mini golf you might be aware of, so I would think that you'd find that pretty enjoyable.
Mini golf is another one of those things where kind of tiny details matter.
Yeah. So then, how about a fishing excursion? You get to go on a pontoon boat out for 2-3 hours, and somebody takes you out there, and you get to, go fishing. You don't keep anything, but you get to catch some big whoppers. And
I'm not much of a fishing guy, mostly because I'm impatient. I'm impatient as heck, and so that's not something I'd like to do. But I know a lot of kids my age like fishing.
I know I've heard some stories, and the guides will take you if you go to a spot that they're aware of and you're not getting any bites or it's not going as quickly as you'd like, they'll go to another spot right away, and they know all the little places that the fish like to hang out. So that's a great option as well. You're looking at me with googly eyes. Is there something you wanted to add?
Yeah, because that just kind of reminded me of the Jungle Cruise.
Okay.
And that was... I can't believe I forgot about it. That was one of my favorite rides. Because obviously you get to see all the cool different sceneries and different, like, gorillas, Indian men. But it was my favorite ride because I got to go on there and they give you these tons of cheesy jokes. And I found them hilarious. So everyone was kind of, like, not paying attention to her, taking pictures and stuff. I was paying attentively to the jokes and scenery. And so she kind of disregarded everybody else on the boat and turned towards me and started just telling the jokes one-on-one. I thought that was the best thing ever.
So, a really cool thing with the Jungle Cruise, you get to a point where you go into a tunnel, and the skipper gets quiet during that time, but she knew how much you were eating up her jokes, and so she added to it by just telling you these jokes.
She told me jokes like at the end of the tunnel there are these 3 Mayan gold statues. She turns to me, locked eyes, and goes, "Those are my golden girls."
That's awesome. I was set back a little bit. I couldn't hear what was going on as well, but my wife was able to hear it, and she still talks about that all the time because how much you enjoyed that.
By the end of the ride, I was in tears from laughter. It was amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How about the pool? You like going to the pool?
Swimming is one of my favorite hobbies.
Okay, so
Don't get to do it much, but I love swimming.
sure. Well, you live in Wisconsin. You don't get to go to a pool unless you find an indoor one, right? Especially on weather like we have right now. People, as we're recording this right now, we're experiencing 20 below weather with wind chill. I believe this morning I woke up and it was -2 with a wind chill of -17. So if you're down in Florida listening to this, or Texas, or wherever you might be, enjoy your weather. It's been brutal. So hopefully we've come out of it, and the next few days will be better. But
it won't. It won't.
I always laugh when I see people in Florida posting how cold it is, and
and it's like 50 degrees. I'm like, that is the Sahara Desert right there. I don't know what you mean that's boiling hot. I mean, cold, freezing cold.
Well, if I had it my way, I'd be living in Florida, but maybe someday I'll get there. I think I've mentioned that before. My wife wants to be closer to family, and I'll oblige that as long as I get to take my trips to Disney. So, all right. So you go to the pool, and they run activities at the pool. Is there anything you've done there that you enjoy?
Yeah. So there was Disney trivia, and because you love your Disney, I've kind of absorbed your Disney knowledge. And so we went to the pool, and we met up with one of our cousins, I think. And so we were all hanging out, and they announced some Disney trivia. And so Disney trivia, it's exactly it sounds like. They'll play like different ride songs, different theme songs of the rides, and you have to name them. And because Mom was helping out my sister, and I was kind of holding up my team, it was me and her in a finale because we tied at 16. And so me being the competitive 16-year-old I am, I started trash talking. and then it was I think Dumbo or Peter Pan they played. And I got it a split second before her. And of course, me being the competitive teenager I am, my eyes lit up as I got that foam ball right in my hands.
If you go back and listen to episode, I believe it's 19, just a couple episodes ago, we talked about music, and I believe I told this story a little bit on that episode, how competitive they are. And that comes from the Walt Disney World official album. We have that CD, and we play it in the car all the time. So they're always asking me, which ride is this? Which ride is that? And now it's, Dad, this is that ride. Dad, this is that ride. And so I've kind of indoctrinated them, I guess, into...
You forced us into knowledge.
But it won you a trivia contest, didn't it?
It won me a foam ball that I eventually gave to a different kid.
There you go.
And I know that there's another one where they threw quarters into the pool, and so they'd have kids dive down and try to grab as much as they could.
That's cool.
So tiny things like that, just to keep the kids entertained. That's so fun.
Yeah, they've always got something new every half hour or hour. They've got a new activity coming along, right? So even if you want a day off and not go to the park and you just want to hang out at the pool, Disney's going to entertain your kids for you. You can sit there and relax and
get a nice tan on you.
Get a nice tan, get some drinks from the bar, and really enjoy yourself, right? So taking your teenager to Disney is not something to be scared of, right?
It is not. It is something you should do.
Something you should do. I like it. As I like to say, take your kids no matter the age. If they're 2 months old or if they're 16 or whatever, take them. Those memories are yours, and they'll also have memories of their own, which, as I'm talking to him, the memories he's telling me are different from the memories I have, and I think that's wonderful. Kind of makes me wish I had experienced some of these with
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Well, you know. So, everybody, I really appreciate you listening this week. That's all we got, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, please rate us on iTunes and subscribe. Email us at milesfrommainstreetpodcast@gmail.com with any thoughts, and visit us on Facebook under Miles from Main Street. We'll be bringing more to you weekly and look forward to talking to you then.
Until next week, remember,
some live close,
but most of us don't.
So let's talk about it.